Oh, started recording.
Yeah, I do that about 5 of, although I'm a minute late. That's okay.
Okay. So I've printed out all your readings. I haven't gotten to them yet, but
Well,
I've
there's
printed them out.
a lot of words.
Yeah. Well, it all looked very interesting, and I thought, oh, this will be great stuff. But when you can't really concentrate when you're in.
No.
Neck.
Do they have any idea what the cause of your neck problem is?
A pinched nerve.
Yeah, well, why do you have a pinched nerve?
Two of the discs kind of shifted a little toward each other, and the chiropractor is moving them back away from each other. So,
Aha, slowly.
yes, slowly. I have a very gentle chiropractor for which I'm grateful.
Yeah, so do I.
It may take longer, but I would rather do that than have the crackle, crack, boom.
Yep.
Type.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I had that once, and I said, no, not coming back to this person.
You know, my uncle Dick, was the first licensed chiropractor in Indiana. A long time ago. And I did go to him many times. And of course, he was the pop and crack type because that's the only kind there was back then.
Yes.
So, because that would have been the 50s, very late 40s or early 50s. So,
Wow.
so I've experienced that, and I don't want to go back to it either.
No.
It was helpful. Not that it wasn't helpful, but no, I'm much happier.
Yeah. And he gives me a massage of the area first to loosen up all the muscles and get everything relaxed, and then he has me breathe in and breathe out very slowly and does a gentle little push.
Well, that's good.
You know, and
Andrew just let me know he's running behind this morning, but I guess he's coming.
he has me on my back and then does some stretching of my neck out.
Good.
Which is, it's helpful when I remember that cord from the clouds that attaches to the whatever point you call here. And if I can never remember the name.
By way.
By way. And where is it exactly on the?
Actually, it's where your soft spot was as a baby. So actually, if you go up from the middle of the ear, right up to the center of the head, that's where it is.
Okay, that's where I thought. But
yeah. And there's a spot somewhere between a half an inch to an inch back of that. There's another one that's also a very good one. It's a good one to think about lifting from because it prevents you from tilting your chin up. Okay,
and what's that one called?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I'm blanking on it. So,
okay. I'm glad you do that too, because I've heard the byway term since I think my first class, but whatever that point is, I'll just try to say, David's point back here.
Got it. See you when you can make it. Well, let me
How are things with our other member, Sue?
Susan, I actually haven't heard from her. So I'm gonna give her a call.
Let's see, Pete. Well, you ate your food. Oh, she's been very sick and been throwing up a lot, so she's just starting to eat food again. I'm gonna give her a
Oh,
treat for eating food, so hold on a minute, I'll be right back.
sure.
Good girl, you braved your food. What a good girl. Uh-huh, you ate your food. You ate your food. Good girl. Good girl. Look on, huh? Look on. Look on, yes.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again. Announcement for Welcome to Verizon Wireless. Your call cannot be completed.
Morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm okay.
Are you joining us?
Well, I'm trying to, but I just don't seem to have the link this morning.
Oh, no.
I just sent you an email. I wondered if you could resend it,
Oh, sure.
and then I'll be right there.
Okay, will do. Bye.
Hi.
There, okay, so go. Oh, no. Let's see. Yes.
She tried to trick me by just covering up her food with the towel. But I moved the towel and found the food, so I mixed the treat in with the food, so she's got to eat the food to get the treat. How is Susan?
I have to send her the link again. I don't know why. Okay. And I think Andrew's here now.
Hello.
Hello,
Hi, Andrew.
So to do the video.
we have an A. Oh, there's a person.
All right.
For some reason, Susan didn't get the link, so I just had to send it to her again.
Gotcha.
So she'll be with us in a minute.
Awesome. I'm here.
More or less.
More or less. Yes. Yes. Okay.
Sent. In case you didn't see that. How are you, Andrew?
Okay. I went to like lay on we have like a couch out in the hall. I
Yeah.
went to put my head back and I was tired and I kind of like really went for it, you know. And I smashed my head on like the corner of the trim of a window.
Oh no.
And yeah, so that didn't feel great. And so this morning I woke up and the back of my head was all like I could feel like something like draining down the back of my head. Like, so yeah, no, it was not a great start to the day.
Hold on a second.
Sure.
Can you send it to an email?
I did.
It didn't come in. I don't want to hold you up either. So
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. I'm using the same email I always send it to.
yeah, 103. It's not coming through. Here it is.
Oh,
Got it.
all right. Good.
All right, be there. Sorry.
That's okay.
Uh,
See you in a minute. The wonders of technology.
I know. I was gonna mention. I always forget. You can just go to Zoom if you haven't installed and hit join, and it remembers the rooms.
Yep.
I do the same. I'm like, what's the room code? I'm like, it's the same one. It's been.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did this morning.
Right.
I had my phone nearby just in case. Because sometimes I get to more meetings and some meeting gets pushed off the edge of the earth. And I didn't know, since I hadn't been here in a while, if this meeting had been pushed off the edge of the earth, but it had
Right.
not.
Not so far.
Excuse me.
But I always use the same code anyway. So even if you didn't get the invitation, you could just enter the same code you used previously.
Yes.
So I just use my personal code. I don't make you use a new one every time. Ta-da!
Here I am.
Here you
Sorry.
are.
Okay,
Breathe.
Rosemary,
Hi,
welcome back.
thank you.
Yeah. So Rosemary, it's important that you not do anything that aggravates your condition, particularly since you're improving.
Okay.
So be careful.
I will. If I have to lie down, I'll try to take the laptop with me and turn off my video.
Okay.
You don't need to see my bedroom. No, it's not,
Okay.
it's not in company shape.
Okay. So questions? How's your practice? Whatever you've been.
I'm
doing.
wondering about the sinking chi versus dissolving chi. I've read all those things, but
Well, we
we
haven't,
haven't gotten there.
you're absolutely correct. We haven't
Yeah.
gotten to dissolving at all.
Okay.
Actually, we're going to work more on sinking today and sort of begin to touch on the beginning first step towards dissolving. We're not really working on that yet, but that's coming. They are completely different in that sinking chi is simply, there's more to it than that, but simply relaxing and opening the body and allowing the energy to sink smoothly through it. Dissolving is talking about becoming aware of energetic blockages and actually dissolving and resolving them so that the energy flows or begins to flow through those areas. I will say a blockage often takes more than one dissolving to resolve it fully, but we can begin to resolve them in stages, usually right away, although sometimes a specific one won't allow you to do that, and then we have something else we do in relation to that. We'll get to that down the road. But just to answer your question. Any other concerns, questions, reports? Okay.
I haven't done any practice, but I'm back.
Good. We're glad to have you back. So the Chinese term for getting the qi to sink through the body is called threading the needle. Now understand, if you've never done something before, it usually doesn't go that smoothly at the beginning, especially if it has any level of complexity. And I really don't care what it is in specific. So normally what occurs in terms of blocking the flow of your energy, and for this, this is short, I'm just gonna stay with this camera. You allow your pelvis to go back too much, and that begins to block the flow to some degree. Some energy will get down to the feet, but it doesn't flow as fully and smoothly as it can when you get the crown of the head and the perineum aligned so that the energy flows smoothly, then through the qua and down into the feet. And we're going to talk today about a few specifics about that. You can go through literally probably 1,000 variations of what of what can actually cause this to happen. But at the end of the day, it boils down to a very single thing. Did this dropping of the pelvis and the going down from your spine cause you to feel something going into your perineum and into your legs? Then if you start getting to how exactly do I move this way or do I move that way? The truth is, if you put the cameras on someone and we took them through 1,000 sessions, exactly how they had to do it, there would be minute differences between each one because the human body is in a constant state of morphine until something becomes utterly and irrevocably stable. The slight instability points account for variation. Now, when you really get down to this, it almost doesn't matter because you just feel how from the crown of your head, boom, everything goes through your legs. Now, it's not super important that it is terribly precise eventually, but before you can do that, the level of precision makes the difference in arriving at that point where you can just shoot the energy through your body. And I'll grant you that if you do something 1,000 times, you're bound to hit it 20 or 30 times just by sheer luck. But when you start going up to where you're hitting it 995 times out of 1,000, then this is not using a whole lot of luck. It means you're doing something right. And that's simply what it comes down to. All they ever said in the Orient was practice, my favorite word. Then they would come by maybe once every 2 weeks or once a month when you had been practicing every day, and they would adjust you. And the reason why they didn't keep on telling you what to do isn't that they have a very strong opinion in the Orient that you have to struggle with it because you're the one who's got to find it. It's your body, it's inside you. Yep, somebody can put you into the alignment and you can say, oh, wow, that's it. But that didn't help you find it. That just helped you know what it is. And if you happen to arrive there by accident or deliberately, it is helpful to know what you're going for. But in and of itself, just having that experience doesn't mean very much because the next time you're not going to get it. So let's look now particularly at the feet, because if you're going through your knees, you have to go to your feet. And there are two essential things about the feet. The first one is that everyone has an arch, hopefully. If you have collapsed arches, you know it because you've been wearing orthotics your whole life. There is a Qigong method to correct this. So everyone has an arch, which means if you have a healthy body, the arch of your foot should not be touching the floor. It should be raised. But other than the arch of your foot, every other part of your foot needs to be in contact with the ground. The arch is something that if you know, what did I say here? There are some things that if you know about them, you won't actually begin to diminish the flow of your qi. And the first one is that the area right in back of your Achilles tendon, right behind your Achilles tendon, above your heel, there is one giant vein there that is really responsible for getting a lot of blood back up to your heart. Now, if this area behind the Achilles tendon starts to squash down, it'll put pressure on that vein, which means the blood won't go back up to your heart as much. And there is also an artery that comes down inside the leg pretty close to the same area, which means the blood won't get to your foot. And if the blood doesn't get to your foot, what do you think is going to start happening to your legs after a while? It will start making your legs hurt because you don't get enough oxygen, and that usually starts causing pain. And it will do something else. It will cause your body to involuntarily tense up because your legs are not getting sufficient blood supply. So in terms of your whole life, this is really important, because the major source of real medical problems to do with the heart don't come from your arteries, they come from your veins. It's the inability for the blood to return to your heart to get oxygenated. And that's a bigger problem than getting your blood out to the extremities. Your heart has a bigger push out than a pull back. And that is a simple way of putting it. It is also the sheer fact that your veins are dramatically smaller than your arteries. So this area in the back of the foot needs to have some sort of a lifting so that you can feel space back there where the tendon is. And that's extremely important. When your foot closes down, the veins and the arteries start closing down. If you open up your foot and raise the area above the back of your heel just slightly, the blood flows. You want space in there, and you don't need much space, but there is a fine line between when that space is closed and it's constricting the blood flow, or it's open and you're not constricting the blood flow. So you can't particularly increase it through that method. There is another Qigong method that can be used to do that, but Energy Gates is not intended to do that. Now, part of this is that besides having your qua, where you get your tailbone to go forward just a little bit, if you get that you actually have the space behind your heel, if you're a little bit back, you can feel the space closing. And if you're a little bit forward, you can feel the space closing. So this is a little bit of a Goldilocks and the Three Bears, not too tight and not too loose. So let us actually, if you can do it, this is a good exercise to do without shoes on. So if you can, slip off your shoes and stand up. And just find that good basic position with your feet about shoulders width apart. Be aware of the alignments we worked on through your body and the position of your head. And breathe. Breathe down to your dantian. Let your breath slow. And so First, now you're just trying to feel what it's like to actually have that space in your foot. And part of it is that you have to relax the quad and also play a little bit with just very, very subtly shifting your pelvis a little forward, a little back, but keeping your sacrum straight down to the earth. And just feel what happens in that area around the Achilles tendon. When you hit the right position, your feet relax and they feel stable. Want that sense that that area around the Achilles tendon is slightly lifting and very relaxed and open. And then just to help you be aware of that, let your ankles collapse in very slightly and feel it shut down. And then go back to center. And then also try pushing your ankle out slightly. And notice that that also begins to shut it down. So finding this center place, go back into the middle. It really is a Goldilocks and the Three Bears issue, finding where you get the greatest level of comfort, because that's going to affect your blood flow. Okay, so relax. So did you feel you could get some sense of that, or do you have a question about it?
Can't feel it yet. Although the relaxed feet is a clue.
Yes, it is.
It just feels like a very small difference, I guess.
It is.
Um, I'm having I'm having trouble with having a little bit of lift there versus like trying to overdo it and like, oh, you know, I find myself tensing I'm so bad at knowing what the muscles are. this
Yeah.
muscle.
Yeah.
But it definitely, if I don't try too hard to feel like, well, it's got to go up a lot,
Nope.
it feels like it makes a difference.
No, this is subtle. This is subtle. And yet it makes a huge difference in the long run. This is very much related to balance and to rooting, of course. And hitting the right position allows the foot to open and soften, and in Master Joe's statement, merge into the earth. And you can't do that if your feet are tense and if the blood isn't flowing and the chi isn't flowing. kind of a interesting thing is that in the West, we tend to focus on blood pressure, but the Chinese have always focused on blood circulation. And where blood pressure is a distinct indicator of perhaps serious illness, and even whether you might die or not, blood circulation is an indicator if you're going to live well.
Mm.
So this is one good piece. We're going to add another one in a minute. But so this is something to practice. Just and I think Andrew, one of the things I would say about what you were mentioning is not to strive at it too much or stand too long trying to do this, because I think you can go too far with that.
So no 6 hours a day, Bruce Francis.
Well, he did a lot of different things. He didn't just do
That's true.
one thing for 6 hours. At least that's my understanding. So the next thing, let me. It's rather important about the foot. Is actually an area in the front of the foot. So right here in the joint between the ankle and the foot, there are two tendons that run parallel. And right in the middle of that joint area is a soft spot, or at least it should be a soft spot. You can make it, I mean, you won't be able to see it on Zoom, but you can very easily pop those tendons out, pop that area out slightly. But it needs to be a little soft indentation there. So just to try to be clear about where I'm talking about it, I want to make sure you knew what I meant.
Wait.
Yep. Go ahead.
What? What are those? Is that different? What is that? Where's the Achilles tendon?
In back.
In the back. Okay. All right.
And I was just showing you a point in the front,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. For a second, I was like, I have misunderstood.
No, we're talking about a new piece now.
Okay. So making sure.
So when you stand and these tendons push out and that spot is not soft, that causes problems to do with your chi getting all the way to the bottom of your feet. In the space in the middle, if the space in the middle gets soft, when you bend and it stays soft, that's very important in terms of the chi flowing down your body, actually getting all the way to your toes. When the tendons pop out, besides the fact that it constricts the bones in the foot, it also prevents your chi from reaching the tip of your toes. So the area needs to be soft. You need to be able to press your finger right into it with no trouble. So again, I'd like you to stand up and try this one for a moment. Be aware of that area. You want to soften that space. And again, one of the things is that you want to make sure you relax the qua. And we are, of course, trying to relax those two areas, but I'll talk a little more about that in a minute. But right now, feel that space between the tendons in the front of your ankle joint going into the foot. And you'll find that if you move your weight too much in one direction, particularly forward or back, that also can cause that area to tighten up. So again, relaxation is a key. You want to make sure that you allow that area to stay soft. You can relax. So these are extremely important technical points. When you see somebody moving, doing Tai Chi or something, you don't see all these things. But this is part of what makes the whole thing work. This is part of what makes Qigong work. Because you're talking about at one level, almost an electric schematic of the body. You're looking at how that qi is going to flow through. And then if you know that, you simply know what needs to open up. Or think of it as being like a water system. If you close down the water at one place, you build up the pressure elsewhere. Now, the way you find this and adjust this is by softening your feet, and then it's going to be two things together. It's mostly going to be from your tailbone, but it's also going to be from your perineum. The two of them are going to find just the place and how to stand so that you soften the front of your foot. When you do that, your whole foot is going to spread and just make a much greater contact with the ground, okay? So now we're going to stand again, and I'm going to talk you through a practice here, really focusing on both of those and all that we've done so far on standing and beginning to be aware of that energy flowing through the body. And perhaps places where it is blocked or constricted. Be first aware of your breath and allow it to be soft and to slow a little. And as much as you're able, just allow yourself to be aware of your qi flowing down through your body to the bottom of your feet. And now going up to the crown of your head. Be aware of any place that you feel any strength or tension. or something that doesn't feel quite right, especially if you don't know what it is, or any type of contraction. Ice to water. Make sure that the crown of your head stays still, that it neither rise nor fall. And like ice turning to water, any place you feel any tension, strength, something that doesn't feel quite right, especially if you don't know what it is, or any type of contraction, let it all go. And have the sense of your energy dropping and moving downward. Through your face and your neck. And if you feel a place tighten up, or you feel a place that's bound up, just let this dropping down of energy go through and wash it. And open whatever points happen to be blocked there. And it can be points, or it could be channels, or it could be blocked and interlaced into little webs inside your body. It doesn't matter what it is. If the chi going down feels stuck, you want to wash it down and move it downward. Down your neck, down your throat, front, back, and sides, all the way around. Let your chest, upper back, and shoulders go. Let your heart just become smooth. Doing this will be immensely helpful in relaxing and releasing anxiety in your life. Down your chest and your shoulders, front, sides, and back. Moving down through your diaphragm. And your whole abdomen. Have the feeling that what's inside your abdomen is letting go and dropping, as well as just releasing the muscles around it. Eventually in Qigong, your mind and your ability to feel your chi penetrate completely within your abdomen, so that you are as conscious of your internal organs as you are of your fingers. And you can't make it happen, but you can allow it to happen. Keep on doing this with your belly. And your kidneys. Your back. And your lower back. And then down through your pelvis. releasing everything inside your pelvis. And now it becomes a question of how internal can you go? Or it's always a good thing to release the energy that's bound in the prostate. And it's not just releasing what's outside, it's also releasing the vagina, your intestines, your anus, and even the pelvic bones. And don't let your head collapse, keep it up. Now moving below your hips into your legs. Allow your perineum to open and relax everything around your perineum. Letting your legs open. And energy flow down to your knees. Now, if you start feeling energy blocking in any way in your thighs, you may need to change the angle of your pelvis slightly, very slightly, to get the flow to go through. The front, the sides, and the back of your knees. Down your calves and your shins. Now let it go to your ankles. You'll find that by opening up that space in back of your Achilles tendon, it will help you to open up your ankles. And opening that space in front, between those tendons in the front of the ankle. Allow the chi to flow through. Just find how, by letting go of whatever feels blocked, you can get more space inside your ankle joint. And then down to your feet. For many of us, our feet are very hard. It's important to have the chi go through them. And continue until all parts of your feet touching the ground, including your toes, feel as though your chi is sinking and saturating them. And you'll know it when it happens because you will get more space and they will probably feel warm. And then last but not least, there's a chi that has been dropping from your head down to your fingertips and through your body and down your legs. Let your chi now drop into the ground, into the earth. Let it sink into the earth. Keeping your head at the same height. Keep on letting this dropping process continue. Now the body stores memories. And very often when you begin to let go of what's bound inside your body, these memories begin to surge and surface. And it's very important to realize that they're not real. They don't exist in what's happening now. They're simply creating sensations. So just allow these sensations to be there. As you gain a greater and greater skill with this in Qigong, if you have sensations, or you have real pain, in your life, for whatever reason, you can just let the pain be there. Recognize its sensation. Stay with the sensation. And relax the sensation. And you can radically diminish the effect of the pain you feel. Keep sinking your chi. Make sure your tongue is on the roof of your mouth. And breathe slowly and evenly as best you can. Ice to water. Letting go of all strength, tension, anything that doesn't feel quite right, especially if you don't know what it is, and any contraction. Let it go and let it fall downward. Downward through your entire body and into the earth. Let your nerves simply release. It's not unusual for them to have spasms. because that is the nature of holding on. In the process of going from holding on to letting go, very often there are spasms. It's a very normal physiological reaction, and it's a normal emotional reaction. And now very slowly begin to allow yourself to shift your weight from one side to the other. Keeping the pelvis level with the earth. On the same level, don't let it go up or down. And just feel whatever you feel at the moment in terms of the flow of the energy in your body as you do this. Really being aware of keeping both feet soft and relaxed and open, whether it's weighted or not. Keep the head lifted off the top of the spine. Let the shoulders relax. Remember, you do want to keep working on the weight shifting towards 100% on each foot eventually. You don't have to be there yet. But moving in that direction. And then, holding on to all of these elements, begin to allow the body to rotate from one side to the other, very gently. As you turn from center to the side, it's a release of the qua. It's not a holding on, it's not a pushing, it's a letting go. So the rotation is continuous. The awareness of the weight on your feet is continuous. Just flowing back and forth. So Susan, you want your rotation to be continuous. It's not shift and then rotate. It's rotate as you're shifting. Yes, good. Okay, so relax. Come back and sit down again. So, what could you feel? Or what didn't you feel?
I can go down to just below my my pelvis, but my thighs, my quads, and my calves are really tight. They ache even. It's just a muscular.
Mhm.
That's blockage, or it's just old age?
It may be a little of both, Susan.
I haven't been running up and down the stairs. Oh, boy. But it really does hinder getting that energy down through my feet.
Yeah. And so continuing to, and part of it, I agree, part of it may be strengthening to some degree so that it's not so much of an effort, or maybe not standing quite as long as we did just now. But
But
yes.
you said we were supposed to just let the pain be and notice it and not try to fix it.
No, you want to just let that sensation be there, and eventually we'll learn how to do some dissolving of it, which can work very well, interestingly enough. I even have one student who was able to treat her migraines with great success dissolving. So that's one step at a time. Andrew?
It was just, it seemed really important to not forget about my toes.
Mhm.
If I really focused on what they were doing, it kind of made everything else fall into place, making sure that I felt like I was reaching them. If I let go of that, then I would start letting one foot tense as I was moving, or the front or the back of the heel. No, ankle open or closed down. So yeah, it seemed like an important part, or it was helpful to remember that they're part of my body. Yeah.
that sounds like a good, a good point for you.
Right.
That isn't necessarily effective for everyone, I think, but it sounds like it really was helping you, and that's good to discover that.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Hmm.
We're all different. I think the one thing to continue to be aware of in there is not to let the weight move towards the toes
Mhm.
as you do that, because that will begin to tighten things up too.
Yeah, I guess right, because I right, and when I would, I would the feeling of anything moving through them would be replaced with a feeling of them just having weight on them.
Hmm.
So making sure that I'm letting something go through them was the signal to like, right, I've moved my weight way forward, or I've tensed my, something's wrong.
Okay.
Because that's gone away. So go figure out what went wrong. Yeah.
Good. Did you find you could keep the feet soft as you worked through this?
It was continually reminding them to be soft.
Yep.
But so I wouldn't say I could keep them soft, but I could keep fixing them.
Good. Nope, that's fine. Because I don't, if you were able to keep them soft all the time right away, I would say, wow. But good, staying aware of it so that you can keep reminding yourself to let go and get it, stay in the right position. Yep. Good. Other questions about this at all at the moment?
I felt a lot of heat, which I'm guessing is the chi sinking.
Yep, absolutely. Good.
But it doesn't get down to my legs. Poor legs.
Yeah. So really being aware of that, of the movement through the pelvis to the perineum and then to the qua is really key of starting to get it into the legs. So if you can feel that you get it through to the quad, then it can, I think, gradually begin to be easier to move it down through the rest of the leg. Good. Well, so have fun. Try to practice as much as you can, and stay safe and well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
David, we start the new session on the 20, on the what? Week?
Let's see. Wait a
I'm
minute.
going to be away from the 21st till about the 30th, and I think it's that weekend. Second.
Well, I'm going to be away the 24th through the 27th. So actually, we don't come to the beginning of another session for 4 classes. So, because we just started a session.
Oh, we have.
Yeah.
Okay.
To class before this.
Oh,
So it won't be the beginning of another session for a while.
okay. So when's the next time? 12?
You know, I'm sorry, I haven't got that schedule completely straightened out around our trip to California, so I'll have to let you know,
Okay,
which I will do right away. This won't be in the distance, but that's just one thing I haven't managed to do. But yeah, we're going to visit our kids in California from the 24th to the 27th or 29th.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
yeah,
We haven't really seen them. Actually, both of them, the boys were here once in the last 2 years. We haven't seen Hannah and we haven't seen Matt, my son Matt, for over 2 years. So looking forward to seeing everybody.
Yeah.
good.
And grand puppies. There are no grandchildren yet, but there are grand puppies.
I have grand chickens and grand horses and grand cats.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
You understand.
I do. I get FaceTime tours every time I talk to my son.
Yeah.
We just walk around and look at stuff and see what's happening.
Oh, that's great.
It's lovely.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Well, I will be in touch and have a great 2 or 3 weeks.
Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Well, David, I don't have any room in my room.
You don't?
No, I don't. They're we've got like a big tree. I don't know if I mentioned. We've got a big tree that is all split open and rotted out, and but it's like right behind the house. And so if it did hit, it would like smash through their bedroom.
Ooh.
So for the last week, I've been sleeping in here, and now all the all the stuff that was in their room is also awful. So I have about enough room to do like one posture at a time. So I don't know if I try to pick up after Cloud Hands. I think we did High Pat the Horse, right? That comes after that.
Sure.
Sure. So I don't know if we wanted to, I think that's, what I have room for is basically doing a move. And
What's going to happen with that tree?
I got a guy to look at it and come out. I think I need to go talk to the neighbor and see if they would let them bring their truck. I guess just the way it is because of our yard, it's got like that big rock and whatever, he can get closer to the tree from their yard. So I gotta go talk to the neighbor. I think they gotta bring a bucket truck, and I think they're gonna chop it down piece by piece.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And you had something else fall on your garage?
I had a big hole in my garage right now too, yeah.
Oh.
And it's like the third one, and the insurance is like, what the fuck, dude? Basically, is how I would describe the agent's attitude. And I was like, I don't, so.
This is not something you're doing.
They're like, she gave me grief, and then It seems like they're gonna, they're sending someone out to look at it finally, but they were like, any other, you got to like clean up the hill. We're not going to do it again, and unless you can prove that you had someone come out and look and chop down dead stuff.
Yeah.
But they were kind of huffy about it. I was like, well, they never told me. And she was like, well, like that doesn't seem right. I was like, I literally told them that other ones are going to fall, and they didn't. And so anyways, yeah. So.
Oh, the joys of being a homeowner.
Yeah, apparently do not purchase a home with a hill of trees on the property with buildings nearby, or just don't build stuff near it.
Have you looked at our place?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a big tree out way out close to the road. Actually, we have to get down in the spring.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Okay. So I was just curious what was happening.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yep.
So yeah, it gets kind of interesting after that.
Come on. Here. Charging my laptop.
Aha, that's a good thing. Well, so as you complete wave hands, you go into another single whip. And then shift forward, back, and up. And then, are you clear about that posture?
I probably could look at it.
Okay. So you're kind of on a diagonal between the left rear corner and the right front corner. And as you shift forward, the arms fold in. You draw the right foot in, rotating the toe in, so you're going towards a narrow cat stance. And then as you go back, the left hand is coiling down and the right is coiling up. And then you rise, rotating forward towards the side, and the left hand pulls in to about dantian level, and the upper hand strikes forward at face level. The left hand is just left of the center line, and the right hand is just right of the center line. So they're not crossing the center line as such.
Okay. Yeah.
So do you have a question there at all?
No, I think when you're going back, now you gotta go forward. This is a sink, right? Because you have to rise.
Yeah, so
Okay.
From single whip, when you shift forward, you're on the same level.
Okay.
As you rotate to the right, and then you continue rotating right as you come back onto the right leg, but you're really letting that claw relax. So you may actually be sinking slightly so that as you turn, you can rise a little into into the posture.
Okay. Yeah, I think that all makes sense. Okay.
So go back to the last wave hand. So we're going to come in from the right and go forward and then into single whip.
Okay.
So returning to the right, coming into the center, forward, stepping back, shift, twist step, single whip, shift forward, reset, rotate back, sink into that right leg, and forward and up, high pat.
I guess, when does the left leg come in? Is it as you're rotating in the last rotation, as you're coming up? Because that's when I want to do it, but I'm not.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
Cool.
turn here and rise, that's drawing the foot in. It's
Right.
reminiscent of needle at sea bottom,
Okay.
if you remember that one.
Yep. Yeah. Right.
Same thing, that rise, rotate and rise draws the foot in.
Right.
So from there, now it gets really fun. You're going to rotate right and sink back to your base level and embrace the moon and draw the left foot in. And then you rotate and step either towards the corner or past straight ahead. This is at least on an angle back. And you shift forward into it, and then you rotate into ward off left. But it's on an angle back. You're not straight to the side.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to shift forward and rotate in, facing the direction of your left foot. You're 100% on your left foot, and the two hands come up to about heart level in front. And then you're going to, what you're going to do is you're going to turn a little bit right and then turn left, doing a kick with the outside of your right foot. So when you balanced here in the center, you're going to turn and kick. And so the kick, you're going to turn and kick across and bring the foot back in.
Okay. I kind of remember doing this somewhere else. I don't remember.
I think this is the only place we do it in this form.
Yeah, it was a different form. I don't.
Oh, well, we may have done it in the 48.
Okay.
Yeah, long time ago.
Is it a kick that you're like kind of winding up and like springing out, or is it a sweep that
It's
you're
a
like?
sweep.
It's a sweep. Okay.
It's a sweep. So you get to, I'm turning it
Yeah.
at another angle so you can maybe see me a little better.
Right.
So you've got to allow that left claw to rotate a little bit to the right. And that begins to move the foot out. And then, and that's kind of a wind up is indeed. And then the sweep, good David, the sweep is to the left and back in. So you're gonna do a to the right and back in.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna kick my bed, but yeah,
You're kicking the bed.
almost. But yeah, okay.
And at the same time, the hands, as you kick, go out, and the right goes out sort of over the center of that sweep of the right leg, and the left goes back and up a little bit.
Right, okay. I
This
You do.
is probably kind of hard to do if you don't have room.
yeah, I have enough. When you're opening or releasing, when you're beginning, I don't know. I don't, do the hands just hang out until the kick, like you're actually turning back to the left? Or are they already like separating, and then when you're actually starting this, does that make sense?
So, yeah. Yeah, it is kind of hard to know what, okay, so I saw you there. So, when we've been into high pat, and we're going to come back. We step, shift, ward off, go right forward onto the left foot and kick. It's all one continuous movement.
Okay.
It's not, you're not, yeah.
Yeah, I guess, so like here, can you see me?
In a moment. Yeah.
So like you get to here, do I already start going with my hands, or do I wait
Yes.
until I'm, okay, all right, cool.
No, they should, I may not have been before. They should start
Right away.
right away.
Okay. That makes sense.
They go with the kick, yes.
Yeah, I didn't know if they were like, oh, and then right when you're like coming back.
No, when you're coming back, they're coming back in again.
Right. I think I remember like you kind of end where you started, right?
Yes, exactly. Because
Okay.
then you're going to do the other side. So
Okay. I think that part makes sense.
is it possible for you to try it?
Yeah. Which direction does high pat end in?
It's facing straight to the left side.
Okay. Maybe I'll just do that facing forward, because otherwise I think you'll just be looking at my back.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um,
So
I have a-
left hand is palm up.
This is my left. No, it's not. I'm looking at a mirror. I've immediately forgotten the first move.
So the right hand is up.
Oh yeah. Okay, this is my right hand. I don't know what it looks like on your screen.
Yeah, that's your right
Okay,
hand.
cool.
Your left hand is palm up.
Palm up.
Yeah,
Right.
it's trapping, yes.
Does that come forward? Yeah. No. Does that go forward or back to do this?
Yeah, you go forward onto the left foot
Yeah.
and rotate left.
Yeah.
Got it. So, no. I don't know which way to, what direction would be best for you to see this?
Just whatever way it should be.
Okay.
I mostly kind of just need like, hey, you're going to this one next.
All right, so you're here at the end of High Pat,
Right.
and then you're coming back onto that foot, and then step, shift, ward off left, shift forward and in, kick, and back to center.
Let me do that like a few times.
I'm sorry?
I said, yeah, let me do that a few times. All right, that makes sense.
So from High Pat, we come back. And you have to be careful about where you step with the left so that you have a good bow stance when you complete ward off left,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
shift forward and the elbows bend in, and then you rotate into that kick.
Okay. I'm in High Pat. Come in. It's just a step. That's very fun. Way faster. Not over a basket. Okay. Mhm.
Uh-huh. Try ward off left, and the kick should not go up and down is all.
I am. Okay.
A little bit, I just seen a little bit of it.
Yeah. Mhm. I think I'm going up because there's a.
Basket,
I'm trying to like kick over this basket.
yes. I think that was it.
Okay.
Yeah, good, good, nice.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hmm. Kick. Well, I have the chain of events down.
Yes,
I
Well,
need
that-
the space.
actually, that's probably good for that.
Yeah.
And it'll smooth out as you play with it a little.
Yeah, I got to remember, it's so easy for me to like want to go like this throughout all the postures.
Yeah, that was the
Right.
problem with doing the 48 that way.
Right. That's okay. It's just, it's easy for me to forget it,
Yeah,
to not watch for it. Gotta like make a little poster or something. Okay. Yeah.
Well, that'll at least give you a little something to add on there.
Right, right.
Do you
Yeah, I
have
don't know.
other questions at all?
Not not like in terms of physical stuff, I guess, which is probably what I mostly should be focused on,
Well,
you know?
no, we can answer any others too.
I guess then I'm everything that we do in energy gates, I'm imagining should pretty much also always be happening here as well, right?
Yep.
Okay, I guess that like kind of just sums up all the little questions I would have of basically all the things should always be happening all the time.
Yeah.
That's
But-
that's a lot of stuff.
Oh, you haven't seen anything.
I know. Well, that's the part that I'm like, what the how the fuck are you supposed to do this?
Well, that's the point. You know, that's the point of only now. That's
Yeah.
the point of only introducing, you know, a couple of things at a time. or
Right.
really one area of focus at a time, so that you can just practice that, add it in, and then we go on and add something else. So you can only, you know, you can't get it all at once.
Yeah, it's
Overwhelming to do that. And so it sounds to me like your question is, how do you get all of this into the form?
yeah, and I guess like into a form or like kind of just into life also, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like because ultimately, you know, everyone's not walking around doing forms. I don't, you know, I don't do a long form to go to the kitchen, but probably should walk to the kitchen as though with that much coherence.
That wouldn't be bad.
But that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's just a lot of, seems like it, you know, when it's just, yeah, I guess it's not, I don't really have a question there.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you know, Master Joe used to say that ideally you're always practicing.
Right.
It's not limited just to those few minutes or hour or whatever that you focus on a certain thing. That it's the way you breathe, it's the way you walk, it's the way you cook, it's the way you relate to your children and your wife and other people. It's every part of what we do.
Right.
And yeah, there are lots and lots of details, absolutely. And you have to actually, you really kind of have to let go of worrying about that and only concentrate on what you can deal with at the time.
Yeah.
Because
Go ahead.
well, just you can block yourself from doing anything by feeling overwhelmed by the volume. And one of the reasons why I've gone to doing a number of these classes every other week instead of every week is to allow time for practice and absorption.
Right. Yeah.
Because I found that even some of the more advanced classes that I'm trying to do do it every week was just more than people could handle.
Yeah, right, right. And then it's yeah, then you enter into all sorts of, territory of, oh, like I'm so far behind, or
Yep.
oh, I feel guilty for not whatevering. Um yeah. It's I I guess just like, um yeah, I don't know. Like there's so much stuff that it seems amazing that anyone could ever do it all, like for even a posture, all of it, and like all the stuff I don't know, just but like all the parts of all the things that are to be learned about this, to do it for like one moment would just be like, it would take,
Well,
see.
again, my answer to that is practice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good answer, huh? Yeah, I'm
Well,
not gonna do it.
the thing that believe me, I've been where you are at the moment.
Okay.
I remember feeling like that. And then I discovered that when I practiced with some regularity, and made sure that I worked on the things that we were working on at the moment, that gradually they became internalized to the point where I didn't have to think about them.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I can't possibly, no one can possibly consciously think about all the elements, even when we simply go to thinking about them as the 16 Nei Gong, and not all of the details of each of those. It's overwhelming if you try to think about it.
Right.
You have to arrive at the point where they are internalized and they are just what you do. I mean, it's like, I mean, that's what, I don't think about them in the form anymore for the most part. I mean, I have things I'm working on.
Right.
I
Right.
will always have things I'm working on. But there are a lot of things, that I've worked on for years that I no longer think about. They just happen.
Right.
But it's because I've
Yeah.
done them so many times.
Yeah. I guess I'm trying to think, like, does that count? You know what I mean? I'm like, oh yeah, like the answer is yes. In terms of, does that count, right? Like, because then it's just, I clearly breathe all the time, so that counts.
Yep.
So yeah, it's I guess just because there's so much that I don't, that is not internalized, and I'm like, that doesn't seem, it probably how children feel when they see people walking and they're like, what the like,
Yeah.
they're doing it, but it's like I do it. I just like, there's a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about writing code,
Yeah. Right.
how did you feel about that when you first began?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you probably just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when I see other people do it, I very frequently am like, what do you like? How have you not? Don't do that. Do this. And they're like, why? I'm like, you just do. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's interesting to have to read other people's stuff, or conversely, they're like, what the hell are you doing? Don't do that. Do this. I'm like, oh wow. Uh-oh. I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right. That is a lot better. Yeah. I've always I guess just because it's body stuff, right? It's
Yeah.
it's stuff. for some reason, I'm like, I gotta really know all the little pieces. Or conversely, I'm like, the pieces don't matter at all. And I'm just gonna, like,
But
like it doesn't.
the pieces do matter.
Oh, yeah, actually you said something, and you said that the details, it was like the opposite of what I thought the way it would go, that the details are more important now instead of later. It was when you were reading,
And
and
that's exactly what I was just talking about. Is that when you're practicing in the beginning, when you're discovering how to get this into your body, you need to be precise about it. But later on, you don't have to think about being precise because your body knows what to do.
that's the exact opposite way of how I look at absolutely everything. That I cannot emphasize enough of how because like if I'm starting something, my attitude is very much like, just what do I like I just want a general sense. I just want to generally sort of do the thing, and
Sometimes that's true.
yeah, right, I'm sure.
It's not,
Yeah, I see what you're
but
saying.
what I'm saying at the moment is, I would say, is ideally true the majority of the time. But what comes to my mind is the final movement of Dragon and Tiger. And at one point, I remember Bruce saying, okay, so when you're first trying to get this together, once you sort of know where you want the arms to go, you're going to have a really hard time coordinating those two movements. And so you know where you want to end up. So in that case, you just go there.
Yeah. Right.
And in a way that's true, because there's no way that you can get that coordination down in the beginning, but you have to know where you want to go precisely before you can practice even approaching it.
Right.
And in some
a good point.
things like what we've worked on so far in energy gates, we're being very precise about everything.
Yeah.
So we're working from that standpoint.
Right. And I think that's why then you'll ask a question like, so what'd you feel? I'm like, I like about 400 things. I don't know. Like, after we do it. But it said out loud, it strikes me as but like if I think about it, like, yeah, right, like you also don't want to learn it wrong and start making assumptions that but yeah, because if I think about like a master of anything, right, sort of someone who's very good at it, I assume they're focused on very little details, and all of the stuff, it has like very little details that people don't even know are details.
Yep.
And that's why they're so good at it. Not that they've just done all the details and now they can generally think about things, literally anything else while they're doing it.
Well, they're still doing it as a mindful practice, right? They don't do it as a mindless practice.
Yeah. Right.
And the thing that that I'm sure you understand is that there is so much complexity possible to learn and incorporate that you can never have it all. There's no way it could ever be perfect.
Yeah, that's a, I try not to think about that too much.
Oh, okay.
Because then I get to like, well, what the, like, why? You know?
Because you keep growing and it gets better and better and better and better.
Yeah, but like, I won't, so like sometimes I'm like, oh, it's amazing. Like, you know, you'll never finish and boy, we can play this game forever. And other times I'm like, yeah, but the game, you know, the game doesn't end.
Right.
So
It goes on for as long as you live.
uh,
If you
I
lose.
I've heard rumors that it just keeps going after that too.
Well,
that's-
yeah, you get into that too.
Yeah, so like, where are we? So then I've asked you before, where are we going? What are we like? You know, like,
Well, I think that's easy because everything that you learn well and incorporate improves your quality of life.
I guess that's good. Yeah, I guess I like more better life. I Yeah, I guess I don't need to think about it too hard.
um, uh, I think it's important not to think about it too hard.
Yeah. Right. You know, well,
You know,
like,
it's at the beginning, at this stage, you have to think about it to some extent.
right.
You can't learn something new and not think about it.
Yeah.
You know, that's stupid to say the opposite of that. But it's like in meditation, you start with working at a very conscious level, and ultimately you're moving to an unconscious level. And that's what's happening here too.
Mm.
Ultimately, you move from in the Chinese, you move from the yi to the xin, the heart mind.
Oh, I don't know what any of those are.
No, that's all right. You don't need to. But it's
Yeah.
in effect, in Western words, we might say conscious and unconscious mind.
Right.
It's beyond even that, but but basically, yeah.
Yeah. The final thing that always gets me too, or I don't know, just yet another one of you know, I've done some of the workshops with Rick Barrett, and like those moments of like, if I stop trying so hard and stop making a story, if I get out of the way,
Yep.
it's all very easy and it goes great.
Yep.
One, why is it so hard to get out of the way? Two, why do the thing that's in the way even exist then? What is the point of that? You know, like, because clearly I'm not helping anything. I'm not when I do nothing, everything goes great. So
yeah.
What am I doing? Why? Like,
isn't there a lesson in there?
I guess I'm asking because the lesson I understand is that I'm not helpful to anything that's happening. Which I'm like, that probably isn't. Maybe that's I guess, but that I guess instills a feeling of like morose or something.
Well, I think that's a simplification. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's not the takeaway. That is supposed to be. So
No.
I guess I should be grateful that the less I do, it should be easy. I don't.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Why not?
I mean, the fact that you have experienced the moments and recognized that when you get out of the way, as you put it, that it becomes very easy to do it. That's the point. But you had to learn some things along the way in order to be able to do it when you get out of the way.
Yeah.
You know, you can't, you don't go from point A to point Z without passing through all the points in between.
That makes sense. To me, it's a little bit like we're trying to get to point Z and there's like a big weight, you know, like those weights you can put on tractors when you're like trying to keep them with
Yeah.
traction. And I'm the big weight. And if I get off the tractor goes real nice, good.
Yeah.
So why am I on the tractor?
Well, because, you know, part of it is culture. Culturally, we're told that if we try harder, we'll do better.
Yeah.
And we grow up with that. We get it from our family, we get it from our friends, we get it from our teachers, we get it, you know, all over. And you know, there's an element of that certainly here too. I mean, if you practice for 6 hours a day instead of 20 minutes a day, it's going to be a big difference in what you accomplish.
Mhm.
So yeah, from that sense of doing more, you progress more. But it's how you practice that counts.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, thinking too much about it obviously doesn't help.
No. No.
You've discovered that.
Yeah, I do keep finding that out too. So I keep rediscovering it as well.
And, you know, and it's really hard to let go of that.
Yeah, right. Maybe that's the lesson.
Because you have a very good mind. You're smart. You're analytical. You question and you should question. You know, that's every question is appropriate. That, you know, that's one of the things that I think is important is you never cut off the questions. If you have a question, you ask it.
Right.
No stupid question. And those fill in blanks, you know, where the teacher hasn't been clear.
Right.
But the overthinking is what you have to try to let go of.
Yeah. I'm getting better at that.
Yeah.
Just, you know, maybe I don't need to understand all of it right now right here.
You can't.
Or do it all. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's what, I don't know, you hear this from all kinds of people, not just people in Tai Chi or, but the deeper you get into the study of anything, the more you discover that there is way more to learn beyond where you are.
Yeah, that's so frustrating. I don't I don't enjoy, you know, and like I can conceptualize that that's like it's like cool. I'm like, oh boy, I can always get better. But like, could there just be one thing that, you know, I'm just like, oh, I'm all done with that because I've perfected it. It's perfect. It's perfect. Like everything I do there is perfect.
No, only your code has to be perfect. This doesn't.
I've let go of that so long ago. It's not possible.
All right. Then let go of it here.
David, I never thought of that. Huh. Well, that's a lot to think about. Wow. Yeah, I never thought of that.
Well, good.
Or had that perspective, because I really have totally given up. in the sense of like you can abstract, you can write infinite abstractions to make what the code, the thing you want to do be very clean,
Yeah,
but you're just putting spaghetti somewhere else in the end. So yeah, wow, huh?
yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad, I think this kind of discussion, I think, is really important.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why the past few classes I've, been like, let's just randomly talk about stuff until we settle on something here. Yeah.
I is my most advanced classes often have, that's been the case, recently, particularly.
Mhm.
A question comes up, and in order to clarify it and get through it, we spend the whole class talking about it.
Right. Right.
And maybe practicing a little, but
Yeah.
but I think that's important.
Yeah. That I guess because even if you did it, if you could do the form perfectly, but you were an asshole, I feel like you'd miss something.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
and I feel like this sort of thing kind of, I don't know, because there's always, it's very helpful. I would say very helpful.
Even Bruce's teacher, Master Liu, went through that at one point, and he told Bruce, I don't know that whether he told anyone else, but he told him one day that he had gone through the form that he was practicing and that it was perfect, that he couldn't possibly improve it, that he finally just, it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day he did it better.
Yeah.
And he said he realized that he would never be perfect, that there was always room for improvement.
Yeah. And then even in just, can you do it again?
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, you did it once, like even if it was somehow objectively perfect in that sense, like but can you do it more than once, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, we all have days when we practice and everything feels, whoa, that was really good.
mm-hmm.
And then for who knows what stupid reason, the next day it's like we're beginners.
Yeah. What,
Or even to the point of, what's the next posture?
Oh.
I mean, it's,
Yeah.
So we're human, and we vary every moment, not to mention every day.
Yeah. That one's I could talk like all day, huh? But
Yeah.
that's always tricky of because I get the sense of like, oh, I should be able to like, I should have internalized some piece of it, so I shouldn't need to keep correcting any piece of it. But those aren't the same thing. And
Not necessarily, no.
I don't know, that things aren't going to feel the same every time.
Nope,
So
they're gonna feel different.
right. Well.
And the thing is, if you keep doing it, that up and down pretty much doesn't go down. You may go up and down, but it gradually goes up.
Right. The trend, yeah. The trend's
The
up.
trend is up.
Yeah.
you do grow.
Yeah.
And it's, it is practice.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta let go too of, I mean, that's why I try, you know, you always like, how was your practice? I'm like, well, like I did it a lot doing the dishes. I do need to, I need to, you know, even if it's at 11 o'clock at night, just, I need to make it against the law to not do it. That's, I don't know if you remember how I was set up, that's how I was doing my drawing. But yeah,
But you know, also you have to make it be, I don't have to do a huge amount.
right. Yeah, no,
I need to do a little bit, but be 100% there.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Even, you know, even if it is just like I stand and I like center,
Yeah.
you know, but if that's all I'm doing, and that's still better than not doing it.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. And, you know, in that moment, you can feel the feet, you can feel the head, you can feel the quad, you know, you feel the
Right.
breath, all kinds of things you can focus on.
right. Yeah. Yeah. This will be the week.
All right. How's the
Awesome.
rest of your family?
They're good. They're good. Having a sleep in here has been,
Oh,
you know, that was up and down. And then Rowan started teething. So then having us all in a room with Rowan teething again a little bit, that was a fun few days.
uh-huh.
But yeah, generally good. You know, Lyra just won't stop learning and coming up with new stuff, and
She-
yeah,
She is gorgeous.
yeah, she's
And she just looks so bright.
yeah, she really, you know, it's fun to see her get excited and be excited to share things that are important to her.
Yeah.
Because you know, like we were just saying, like if you really are just, you know, even 1 minute, 5 minutes of your, that's what you're doing. It's fun to see a human who, whatever they're doing, that's what they're doing right now.
Oh, and they're really good at it.
Yeah, right. Like it's not, they're not like, okay, I'm really like, I'm focused. Like if she's freaking out because like I got her chocolate cereal instead of whatever other cereal, like all she's doing right now is freaking out. And if she's like having fun and playing or drawing, and like it's fun to see someone who doesn't have,
Yeah.
oh, I wish I had been doing this or that, or well,
Yeah.
or like I really wish I only, you know, I'm really focused on the thing I don't have. But it's just fun to see a human with just, not in a bad way, but just, I'm like, here is now, and
Yep.
this is the thing, and like that's all that exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, right, like that's kind of how it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Like, oh
We can learn a lot from our children.
yeah, that's something. It's funny too, and I know, but you know, in any of the books or something or anything you hear about, like, oh, like you know, how to deal with like upset kids, or how do you like soothe the baby, or whatever, any of those books, none of it really seems to touch on that like, hey, you should really pay attention to what they're doing, because that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Well,
So,
there are books that mention that kind of thing, but
right. But they're not parenting books, right?
no, they aren't.
Not, you're gonna find it in the new parent aisle. I'm glad. Yeah. So she's great. She's really great. Her drawings have gotten really good. That's fun to see.
Oh, good.
you know, she draws faces and smiles, and she has all the parts of whatever she's drawing. Proportionally, it doesn't line up, but I don't know. It's cool. Rowan, Rowan, he loves to scream. And I found that really frustrating for a while. And then I don't remember. It's like Thich Nhat.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's who it was. It was just a short little clip, and it was something about like if you look at a child, or like there's nothing wrong with your children. You're the one who's like twisted yourself into what society is. And that really helped, because
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I want that, and he'll just he is in it. He's screaming. He throws his head back, and I was like, man, what is wrong with him? And then like the next day I saw that video, and I was like, okay, literally said that. So maybe I need to reevaluate. And it's been a lot more fun.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, he's upset. I'm upset too. I would be upset. I can resonate with him instead of just being like, ugh, an annoying noise again.
Yeah. That's good.
But yeah. Yeah. So he's a hoot though. He just loves playing and running.
Good.
Yeah. He's got a lot more words now. So yeah, everyone's really good.
Well, that's great. Well, give everybody a hug and a kiss for us.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Well, we'll pick this up again in a couple of weeks, or
Awesome.
whenever it is. I'll have to send you the schedule when we're meeting again.
Sure. Yeah. And I feel like I have forgotten that you wanted some changes on the site. So if you want, if you go look at it and you have any changes you want, you send them over again, and
Okay.
I will do that.
All right. Yeah.
I was looking through my emails and I was like, all of a sudden I remember this. So yeah.
I'll look at it. I haven't looked at it for a while. You're right. I
Right.
should do that.
Okay.
All right,
Awesome.
buddy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye.